Hey there, my name is Rohit Kumar, and today we are going to discuss another very important research domain, which is virtualization. So, when we discuss the concept of virtualization, one usual thing that comes to mind is cloud computing, because usually everything that we are using, because of being resource constrained or whatsoever, in the form of service, then obviously that is coming from cloud computing. So, cloud computing is offering so many different type of services, resources, platforms, etc., and that is coming in the form of service at your side. So, what you are having? You are having virtual resources. So in this form, virtualization is closely related to cloud computing, or we can say that cloud computing is exploiting the concept of virtualization. But point is that should we say that virtualization and cloud computing are common, means both are similar thing? Because it's a common myth, and it's a very big myth, because people do believe, many means a lemon normally believe that it is the definition that virtualization is equal to cloud computing and cloud computing is equal to virtualization, which is not. Why is it so? Because cloud computing means that you are using the resources on the fly. On the fly means what? That you are moving, you are roaming here to there. It means you are not static. Means you are one city to another city or one place to other place, you are moving continuously on the move, but still you are attached to some sort of services. Means you are using your web mails, you are using some video games, you are using means some audio or video signal processing technique or something like that, or your model is getting trained over cloud or something like that. Means you are doing computation, you are storing data, you are enjoying some sort of services, but you are moving from one location to other also. So how is it possible? Means now you might be saying that why is it not possible? With the cellular systems also, we are connected to cellular networks and we use some sort of services. Yes, you use some sort of services, but not all type of multimedia and these sort of services. These are only possible, and this is only possible if you are using some sort of services which are already at some server, and from that particular server you are downloading those services or using that services, and because of continuous rise in telecommunication technologies, you are enjoying that or those service set of services while on the move. So in this way, the role of telecommunication network is also very important, but the role of cloud computing is also very important. Because okay, let me give you another example that will be better suit. For example, you want to set up your company. Okay, what is the basic requirement? Firstly, you'll need to have a basic infrastructure setup. Then you need to have some sort of platform. Then platform means you need to have some sort of OS installed, some basic requirement of software, etc. You need to install. Then only you'll start the work in the form of some application or something like that. Okay. For example, you brought a hard computer from market or workstation. Then you bought a licensed operating system or something like that, or you installed some free operating system. Then you installed some your required application need, means like office suite or something like that. Okay, Corel Draw, etc. And then you started to do something like the word processing, means writing some mail or something like that, or some Excel sheet means maintaining your balance sheet or etc. Point is that whatever you want to do, you need to do some basic setup. But suppose it is being done by some company and you are just using the services of that particular company. Isn't it great? Yes. So similar concept is coming with cloud computing. Cloud computing is promising you that you simply use the resources and pay for it. Means it's a kind of rented service, means a metered service, and that's why like you pay for the electricity, water, etc. Similar way you need to pay for the services as per the use. Okay. Now, what is virtualization? Why it is different? Because, for example, you have the network at your side and you have virtualized your resources. Means you have installed some hypervisor on your system. Okay, and you are using, means you using VMware or VirtualBox. So you have virtualized the underlying platform, and then you are using, means multiple users are using the services of your system. Means you have the infrastructure as well as you have the virtualized environment. So virtualization and infrastructure both are at a single place. But suppose the infrastructure is not at your side and virtualization is also not at your side, you don't have anything, still you are enjoying everything. That is the benefit of cloud computing. Okay, so now coming to the main discussion of virtualization, that is the today's focus. So as you can see through these different diagrams, that virtualization is obviously comes in the form of different virtual machines form, and when we have means wherever you don't have a resource in its actual form, just a kind of intuition of its presence, then it's a virtual environment. Okay, so point is that when we say virtualization, so as per the Wikipedia information, in computing, virtualization or the virtualized memory or the virtualized resources in terms of computing, etc., everything is a different form of something. Means some hardware platform, storage, some networking resources, etc. Means it might be anything, and you are just using a different form of it. Different form means not using physically, means you are not touching it or something like that, but you are doing computation out of it or something like that. So in this way, if we say that when did virtualization start? So virtualization started in near about to 1960s, and it was used as a method of logically dividing the system's resources, because the systems used to be very big at that time, like mainframe, and then different sorts of users are supposed to get connected to that. So you need to give a little pie of the cake, means a little pie of the resources, small resources out of the whole chunk of resource to each of the users. So in this way, the concept of virtualization came into picture. Now nowadays the system size is very small, you can easily distribute to each of the users. So in this way, the role of virtualization is not that much like it used to be before, but now it came in a different form. Concept is same, packaging and the flavor is different, similar thing. So here now it is coming in the form of cloud computing and cloud resources. Okay, so coming back to the concept of virtualization, I think you have got the basic understanding. Now when we say that it is related to cloud computing, then obviously it is going to be highly used, and it is highly used not only today, since long. And that's why more than 130 countries authors have been consistently doing research related to virtualization. And the one more term related to it is network function virtualization, that is used in network. So I'll discuss the terms related to virtualization also sooner. Okay, so here coming to the researchers, so more than 20,000 researchers have been actively engaged in the research related to virtualization in some or other form. And when we say that is it only in industries? No, in academia also lot of virtualized resources, especially in corona era. You might have seen that so many virtual meetings are going on. People are not at a single place. So it is the best example you can have, that's the social meetings which were used to be physical in nature earlier. Now everything became virtual. Even the classrooms and the online teaching, etc. What is this? Everything is virtual. So here comes the concept that when we say that virtualization is so dominant, then what are the some most related topics or the key domains related to it? Because it's a kind of interdisciplinary technology. Then yes, it comes with hardware related concepts as well as software related concepts. And when we say that virtualization, then firstly that comes to mind is virtual machine. Virtual machine, a machine means a system, but that is not physical. So on a physical system, you may maintain multiple virtual systems. Those are called virtual machines. Okay, and multiple users can work on that single system. Now coming to the concept of virtual machines, then it may get implemented in x86 or x64 based systems, means 32 of 64-bit systems. Then the IP addresses, etc., you need to manage accordingly, because if you are using multiple virtual machines on a single system, then you need to map the IP addresses, etc. Then different sorts of other settings you need to do. Then coming to the how to do these sort of things, and then if you go and want to explore more, then I will suggest you to go for the VMware or VirtualBox tutorial. And there, just by seeing the basic introduction video, you'll get most of the things. Now coming to the basic introduction of virtualization, then computer comes into the picture, because computer architecture is related very much to the concept of virtualization. Ultimately, what you are doing, you are sharing the architecture, you are sharing the infrastructure, and in this way the computer architecture is closely related to the concept of virtualization. And when you have the improved speed, means the 5G before beyond 5G, B5G or 6G, then the power of virtualization will come in its main form, means in its actual form, because nowadays the main hindrance in the technological progress is the communication speed. So after the 6G or beyond 5G or 5G introduction, then you will have a lot more wider bandwidth for your access, and that's why everything will go smooth. Now there is another concept, emulator, then hypervisor. These are kind of software tools related to implement the concept of virtualization, and with the help of these tools we are able to implement virtual machines at our system. Okay, now when we say virtualization, then virtualization might be in different forms. It might be some service virtualization, it might be some network virtualization, some application virtualization, etc. Okay, like I told you just 2 minutes before, network function virtualization. So here what you are virtualizing means you are maintaining a different form of network function. You are doing routing, but you are not using a physical router, you are using a virtual router. For example, some simulator. In a simulator, if you are using some particular tools, then those tools are not physical, those are virtual. Then it's a virtual environment, means virtualization taking place. So similar sort of the multi-tenancy means maintaining multiple users with respect to a virtualized environment, then provisioning the resources, because provisioning means allocating, deallocating the resources, and then the communication in telecommunication network, real-time operating system communication, then the cloud storage, computing, then the power of the system means the power taken by a system, and the power consumption issues come into picture, because more the virtualization, more power consumption is supposed to be there. That's why the Google data centers takes so much power, and it's a very serious issue, because if we see from a greener point of view, because green computing has been the focus of research nowadays, and sustainability. So then all these sort of things become very, very important, and you need to very efficiently need to learn about these sort of things, and they need to understand the importance, that how important these things are, because if your nature is not safe, you are not safe. So ultimately technological progress should go with green computing and sustainability. Okay, now when we have discussed most of these related topics and domains, then I think you must have got the basic idea of virtualization, its related domains and everything. If this interests you, then you should go for it. If not, then I would suggest that don't completely deny it, because you can't deny it. In one form or other, you are definitely using virtualization nowadays, and that's why I will suggest you to go and read some basic survey paper, because might be the position that I couldn't explain you well, and that's why you didn't get everything. So whenever going to reject some topic, at least read one good survey paper about it. If it doesn't interest you, then only go for some other topic. Okay, now coming to that, if so many things are related to virtualization and it is so important, then what are the related bodies engaged in the funding at sector? So let me tell you that the Medical Research Councils, University of National Institute of General Medicinal Sciences, National Science Foundations, European Commissions, then National Human Genome Research Institute, and the Department of Energy, then National Institute of Health, then different defense forces based organizations, national cancer institutes, means medical defense industry, then some other telecommunication related companies. Everyone is using, even especially in academia nowadays for teaching purposes, this sort of concepts are used. But for funding, obviously the big organizations like the academies, means the big academies, as well as the big sort of industrial corporations, and the public partners, means the government bodies are also funding these sort of projects. So if you are interested in these sort of fundings, you can go and have a check on the national as well as the international bodies, and definitely you'll find many. Okay, now coming to the publications, so lots of publication have been continuously in progress, and some of the related journals which are giving boost to these publications include the ACM SIGCOM Computer Communications Review, then ACM SIGPlan notices, ACM SIGOPS Operating System Reviews, then ACM SIGARC Computer Architecture News, then International Journal of Engineering and Technology IEEE Transaction of Parallel and Distributed System, Future Generation Computer System FGCS, then Wireless Communications and Mobile Computing, Computer Networks, which is an Elsevier journal, then IEEE Communications Magazine, International Journal on Computer Networks, then Cluster Computing, IEEE Transaction on Network and Service Management, TNSM, the Journal of Supercomputing, IEEE Transactions on Vehicular Technology, etc. Means you will find the domains of agriculture, smart transportation, smart agriculture, smart cities, And the concept of supercomputing, the concept of cloud computing, etc., means every concept is related to the concept of virtualization, and that's why its application domain is almost including every other field. So I will request you to go and have a consistent exploration of the relevant applications. In addition to the journals, some of the related top publishers include the Association of Computing Machinery, means ACM, IEEE, Elsevier, Springer, MDPI, Multidisciplinary Digital Institute, then the IOP Publishing, Hindawi, Taylor and Francis, IGI, Wiley, Sage, etc. Okay, and if you are interested, then you can go to Google Scholar. You may find some of the related top researchers, and there you'll find the detail, and lots of Chinese and as well as the Korean authors you'll find over there. Okay, so point is that whenever going for this sort of topics, you should also see that what sort of institutes are engaged in. This will help you to have or maintain an active collaboration among the different researchers, as well as you will be able to have a look on the key possible institutes where you can apply for your doc or postdoc. And in this way, you can have good chances of getting enrolled at that particular university or college. So some of the top institutes include the Shanghai Jiaotong University, Georgia Institute of Tech, then University of Toronto, then CAGIFT, IBM, University of California Systems, IBM Research, Intel, which is the Intel US, as well as some other countries establishment you may also prefer, or you can look at, or you can explore. Then the University of Texas System, University of London, then Carleton University, State University of New York, etc. Now finally, the concept that whether you are going for open access or not, so you can go, there are always some open access papers, and you can have a check. Additionally, some of the early access works are published, and those works are published in different domains like IEEE transactions on network and service management, discussed the work virtualized network function forwarding graph placing in SDN and NFV enabled IoT networks. Okay, so using these sort of works, you can have a basic idea of SDN and NFV. Then the prioritizing smart factory investment, and this work is accepted for publishing in International Journal on Production Research. Then the ACM transactions on reconfigurable technology and systems include the cloud building block chips for creating FPGA and ASIC clouds. Then the design mode of stage performing arts based on 3D modeling and moving edge computing technology is accepted for publication in wireless communications and mobile computing. So in this way, so many different domains works, including the internet technology, mobile computing, wireless communication, the here cloud applications, and when we say the service management, we include the network management, and we have the other concepts related to your communication and computing based reviews. So these sort of different domains, because review and practical applications based domains might be two different domains, so that's why I'm saying review a different domain. Okay, so in this way, when you are doing a specific type of research, you need to see that what sorts of articles are being published in that particular domain. If you are interested in writing some review work, then you should see that how many review works are being under development or under acceptance, and then you should go for a particular journal or the domain. And if you are saying for practical work, and in every domain, the review as well as the practical based works are in progress, so you should go for that. So I'm closing this video here as of now, and if you think that we didn't cover anything in proper way, then please let me know through your criticism down the video in the form of comment, and please tell me how we can improve our further analysis. Thanks for watching the video. Thanks again. Happy learning.